And we're live. Welcome to Dr. C and One Life to Liver, who say hello, movie fan. Glad to have you guys here and hanging out. We're ready for the Sif Pop / Your Movie Friend monthly hangout. So yeah, Evan's here as well. What's up, Evan? It's so strange. There's 3 people in the chat, and when I looked at the numbers, I was like, oh, there's nobody here, but you're all here. I'm so glad to see you.
I don't believe those numbers. I know the fam shows up.
That's right. It is time for the family meeting. As always, we've got Mr. Blake Hodges here to do the honors.
Good to be here, y'all.
We'll have a good time chatting about whatever you guys want to. So if you have a question that you want to ask, throw it in the chat. This is your time. So Blake, take it away, and I'll let you know if there are any questions going on in the chat.
Well, for our welcoming / whose line is it anyways, Aaron, how's life been recently?
It's good. It's going well. It's busy. It's busier than it's been in a long time, which for me is saying something. You always ask me about how I do the plethora of things that I do. So it's very busy. I'm excited because you were talking about my lighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all glowy on this side because I've got my main light here, but also I've started instituting let me see if I can pull it up here. Some fun lighting around my house. Oh, really? Now you're going to do an update?
That's how it always goes.
I'll get back to that. Anyhow, life is going well. How about you?
It's going good. I just got back from a week-long vacation. First week off I've taken in a year with the in-laws. And
nice.
Just a little tip for everyone, so you aren't blindsided like I was. When you spend a whole week with your in-laws, you realize you're different than them.
You're with different human beings.
Yes, you're with this family that is used to being a family, and you feel it's a little different. You're like, oh, I guess I never was acutely aware of how much families have like this long list of little nuances. It was intriguing.
It is interesting for sure. Dr. C says, I do have a question. After hearing you talk about horror movies on Sif Pop, would you consider A Quiet Place a horror movie?
That's a good question.
Again, I hate being the genre police. It's kind of an annoying conversation for me in general. But I would say A Quiet Place is more suspense thriller than it is horror. But yeah, sure, it can go in the suspense subgenre of horror. I mean, certainly what is happening to them is horrific, right? An alien invasion and possibly being under attack. Like that's a horrific thing. But because for me, it's not as focused on the gore or the violence necessarily. It's all about, I mean, it really is all about the suspense in that movie. The tension of that movie is all about the silence and being quiet and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think it's more suspense than horror. But again, a horror movie fan could come on and say, no, that's horror and it's an amazing horror movie, and see, you like horror, and that's fine, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't bother me. But yeah, I think the qualifications are interesting, to define them, the genre.
I definitely would agree. Thriller is my favorite genre, and I put it in there like hardcore. It's almost like those companies that like they have the company brand and then they have little brands underneath them that are totally set apart. They're still underneath the umbrella, but they're also totally different. And so I think it's under horror, but it's definitely more thriller.
I think Evan asks, is it a horror movie? I think that is more definitively a horror movie than A Quiet Place is. That's definitely, like, it is intended to scare through the horror, through the violence or the danger or those kind of things. So
Aaron didn't jump in it anywhere near as much as I did. You and I actually saw that one together when you were down here for the convention.
I totally forgot that.
And Aaron doesn't move. He is as still as a statue. Like while he's watching a movie, I watch a movie with my whole body. Like I'm flailing around. If you don't know me, you would never want to sit next to me. Even knowing me, probably sitting next to me is not that fun. But
it wasn't that bad.
I just remember thinking like, Aaron is so chill right now because I was terrified.
Yeah, I just sit and take it all in. That's my general thing. It takes a lot for me to move or get excited. And my wife was reminiscing the other day about the end of Split and about watching me at the end of Split because it was so different than how I usually react. Talking to the screen and jumping around, and so yeah.
Yeah, my creative director at work was like, I really need to see Split. And I said, you need to see it right now because you're going to have it spoiled in a weird way, if not because of the
Mhm.
trailer and all that. Because he had no
Yeah.
idea.
Evan also says, Blake, you crack me up. It's like watching a new puppy.
Oh, well, thank you. I will take that. I've been called many things. That is in the top percentile.
There's nothing wrong with being a puppy, man. Puppies are adorable.
People love puppies almost
Right.
universally. Even Twitter loves puppies.
Yeah, it's true. Did you know I have a little emotion cube on my desk
No.
where I can set it to give my current emotion? So currently we are with joy, but I could change it around and
How
yeah, what
fitting
I'm
that
feeling.
it is Pixar.
Of course it is. Ah, since we're talking about horror.
Yeah, that would, yeah, exactly. That makes perfect sense there. Any
So
other?
no, I think we're Dr. C says I almost had the same reaction to Split. I just started laughing in a good way. I started giggling and then I just started shouting at this. Well, not shouting, but for me shouting at the screen. And I think I was saying things like, "Oh no, you didn't." And he did not just do that. This did not just happen. Probably about that volume in the theater. And just kind of, leaning forward on my seat and jumping out and that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Well, it raised the stakes. Now, at any time, we have to. And it just made the internet rumors a buzz for the possibilities because anything can happen pretty much at any moment now. Like the universes can connect.
Yeah, I love it. It's great stuff. One Life says, Aaron, I need that. Yeah, I forget where I got this. I think it came in like a Subway. I think it was like a Subway meal, and it was one of those punch out things.
Huh.
And yeah, so
Well, as far as fast food toys go, that's pretty good.
I mean, it's just a little cardboard box that you just fold together into pieces or whatever. So yeah. All right. Anyway, so I have new lighting that I've been messing with. So, for instance, now I can change the colors in here, but you can't really see with these lights on. So hold on. Ooh,
Ooh, we are in horror movie mode now.
now it's red. See? Isn't that fun?
What prompted the new lighting?
And then a little spring blossom. This one's called Spring Blossom. What prompted it was I'm just a Google fiend, and so I wanted to be able to change the lights through our Google Home and stuff. So,
Hmm.
so yeah. So now I can be like, let's see. Let's turn it back to. Let's go super bright. Hey Google, turn off the lights.
Okay, turning off 2 lights.
Oh gosh.
Mhm. See. Hey Google, turn the lights back on.
You got it, turning 2 lights on.
So that's what I've been messing with. And what's kind of cool is we have a one of those Google Homes in every room, and it
Mhm.
knows what room you're in based on the Google Home that you're talking to. It's still listening to me, by the way, so it may. Nah, it's good. So it knows which lights to do based on where you are. So if I were in a different room, it would turn those lights on and off based on where I was. So
That's so cool, so scary.
Dr. C says, "Is it a cookie from Black Mirror?" Yes, unfortunately, that is how it works. I feel bad, but yeah, it's a cookie from Black Mirror. Hey Google, turn the lights purple.
Sure, changing 2 lights to purple.
So there you go.
Wow. Well, that's pretty cool. I'm not about the robots. They're gonna take over. So make friends with them, Aaron, and spare us all.
But it's all about convenience, right?
That's how they get us.
Whoa! It's funny. My chair is right over like a little. It's almost like a manhole cover, and so if I roll incorrectly, my wheel goes down into the manhole. It's like I don't know. It's like an opening to something. So
Is that so you have the Ninja Turtles on tap at any moment?
basically, that's what that's for.
I would imagine. Let's see. Families make some plans. So looking at our family matters for the month, we've got Christmas coming up, we've got Thanksgiving coming up. Technically, we still have Halloween coming up.
Yeah.
So what are you excited to make plans to see? Because when I look at what's left of the year, we don't got the staples. There's no Marvel coming out in November. There's no Star Wars coming out in December. As I wrote this question, I was very sad. What are we looking forward to?
I have a very specific answer to this. I'm very excited for this movie, and it might surprise people, maybe not. I am pumped for Mary Poppins Returns.
Huh.
And I think it mostly has to do with Dick Van Dyke. I'm such a huge Dick Van Dyke fan, and the fact that he's 90 years old or whatever and starring in a movie that's coming. I say starring. He's probably just in it a little bit. I actually don't know. I know he's not. He's reprising his role as at least the old banker in the movie. But again, I don't watch trailers, so I haven't seen anything. But man, I'm excited. And also, I think it's Emily Blunt that's playing Mary Poppins. She's perfect. That's just so perfect. The casting is perfect. I'm really excited.
I love Emily Blunt. I mean, she's just one of my all-time faves. I'm still a little miffed that she didn't get Captain Marvel, but whatever. Yes.
Brie Larson's great too.
She is. That's why I can't complain too hard. And she's younger. It makes total sense logistically why. But
yeah, totally.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to Wreck-It Ralph the most too. It just people are saying, "Oh, it looks like a big commercial for Disney." And that's how I love everything that's there. Hit me with all this stuff I love.
Yeah, I just don't like the title, but that's all I know about it is the title.
Yeah.
Ralph Breaks the Internet. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is.
Here's what happened. Somebody in the marketing department with a lot of sway said, what if we made it break instead of wreck? That's what happened there.
I don't know. Evan in the chat says Lin-Manuel always gets him jazzed. I agree. Lin-Manuel's in the Mary Poppins movie as well. Evan also says, I'm afraid to ask what your bedroom Google setup is. Well, thanks for asking, Evan, by not asking. Same as every other room, except for if I tell Google in there to set the mood, the lights dim to 5%, and it immediately goes, wah, 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 wah. Plays Let's Get It On. So, that's the only difference.
Aaron, you are so consistent. If I could have made my perfect guess as to what you would have said, that would have been it, and you delivered.
There you go. Dr. C says, I can't wait for Bumblebee finally to see a good Transformer movie. I've got a good feeling about Bumblebee. I haven't seen any trailers or anything, but I feel like this could be a movie that understands that it's not just about the visual cacophony of metal, that it's actually about a story. So plus it's not Michael Bay directing it, which is always a positive. So
yeah, it looks like there's a lot more heart in it. If I have a confession, just since we're with the family, I don't like Haley Steinfeld. I can't like her, so I'm a little nervous for that reason. But the trailer does look a lot better. I don't know what it is. It's one of those. It's one of those opinions that I say I'm wrong. I don't know why. I'm wrong. I don't know what it is.
No, I've got those opinions too, for sure.
So,
not about her though. Man, I love her in Edge of 17.
Man, I didn't like that because of her. Oh, I don't know.
It's okay to be wrong every once in a while. We're all there.
I'm hoping she will change my view of her in Bumblebee.
What else?
All right, let's do some unsolved mysteries.
Okay.
With all the things that you write for, with sins, with your puns, with your radio show, which I think sometimes with everything you do, your radio show almost gets swept under the rug. It's because we don't talk about that one as much, but you have a whole show that you do syndicated.
Sure.
Do you ever get writer's block? I mean, do you have any creative exercises when you are stuck on a pun? I mean, you write a lot.
Okay, so wordplay and writing they're obviously the same, but they're two different parts of the brain for me, because writing should be conversational and interesting and fun and those kind of things. Puns they're these little toys. I love them. They're just these little gems that you find and you craft and there's crafting and writing too, but for the most part, it needs to feel authentic. that's kind of what you're going for. So with wordplay, if I'm facing a block and I'm like, I know there's something here, and what is it? I use a website called RhymeZone. RhymeZone is a brilliant website that you can put any word in. It'll show you every word that rhymes with it. So that's kind of can jog your memory. And sometimes you can think of a phrase from a word that rhymes, with it and do a word replacement kind of pun. It will also give you all similar words. It can also give you phrases that word is in. So like if the word was swim and you went to RhymeZone and clicked phrases, swimming upstream, swim again, whatever, swimsuit, like it'll tell you all the different things that word is in. So that can kind of jog my memory, get me thinking in a certain way. So that's what I use for wordplay if I'm kind of facing a writer's block in that area. As far as main writing, I think it's the best thing I've ever heard, and the thing that works for me the most is just to write, even if you think it stinks. Just start writing whatever you're trying to write, and then rein it in, figure out what it's supposed to be. Because the worst thing is the blank page. Like that is the thing that can get you the most. So yeah, I just have to force myself to sit down and actually write, even when I don't feel like it sometimes. So yeah.
The RhymeZone, that sounds like an amazing website. I mean, that's pretty handy.
Yeah, it's helped me out. It's a great tool for, when you can't just quite put your finger on what the pun is, it's there, there's a wordplay there that could be fun. Yeah, that's a good one.
So I saw the tweet about your movie friend merging with SifPop. We kind of started the show off welcoming that way. What's your plan? Something is definitely a brewing.
Yeah, my plan was by the end of this month to have the Patreon set up. So to have the Patreon be patreon.com/SifPop, which is still my plan, but I haven't isolated the SifPop logo. I think I'm just going to use the ticket from the cover of the podcast, and just put SifPop on there, admit one kind of thing as the logo for now. And then once I get the Patreon kind of merged, so that people can just go to, and by the way, this doesn't change your status as a patron. It will be under you don't have to go to another one. SifPop will become, your movie friend will become SifPop. So you will be, these will be SifPop family meetings, my 5 Things reviews will be SifPop 5 Things reviews, all that kind of stuff. Your movie friend is just kind of going away. But it's the next step to that is more difficult, which is rebranding the reviews themselves with all the artwork and all the work I've done on After Effects and logos and that kind of stuff. That's a little daunting, but I figure I can piece by piece that to the point where I eventually, hopefully, by the first of next year, everything's kind of transitioned over.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
I think it makes sense. I've had people ask me, do I support, Patreon Studio DNA? Do I support Patreon Your Movie Friend? So this way, all the pop culture stuff will be in one place. And if you want to support what I do when I talk about pop culture, that's the place to go.
Oh, so this will include the Studio DNA?
Well, Studio DNA, the only thing the Studio DNA Patreon will be is if you want every podcast that's a part of Studio DNA Network in one podcast feed. So all the bonus episodes for SifPop will be here at what is now Your Movie Friend Patreon, that will be the SifPop Patreon. So you will, if you are a supporter at this Patreon, you will now have access to your own podcast feed that will have all the SifPop bonus episodes in it. Automatically. So it's just kind of putting it all in the same place.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, and I saw that you were... you hearing that echo on me?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. I saw that you were looking for writers in the future too and all that stuff. So I was like, well, something is definitely happening.
That's stage 2 / maybe stage 3, which is relaunching the SifPop website to include the reviews, the podcast, as well as written articles by contributors. And so I will be looking for writing samples from people who are interested in writing about pop culture and coalescing those under the SifPop brand. I don't think I'll be able to pay writers right off the bat. But if we can drive some traffic, drive some advertising, then I should be able to pay per article, kind of thing for writers who do good work and bring in good views. So that's the goal, at least.
Well, that's really cool. I've noticed a lot of the big websites that get the trailer mentions, like citing those people or whatever. It's just websites that do good stuff. So
yeah,
cool to see Sif pop on my theater screen. You know,
yeah.
Aaron Dicer,
We'll see.
Or whatever.
We'll see. I've got a lot on my plate, so I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but we'll kind of do it bit by bit.
Who is the Roman mythological person that they keep pushing the rock up the hill every single time?
Sisyphus.
Bad context, but I always think of you as like that person who's just like, I can do more. I'm just gonna, now I've got 5 arms and 5 rocks. I'm gonna keep pushing them.
Evan in the chat says, how do you think this will impact your 5 things review frequency? It is going to stay weekly as much as possible. My reviewing for the 5 things has been towards the low end of my priority list. I still try to get them out weekly, but if I'm traveling, I just won't do one for that week. If there are things going on, it may get pushed back a day. You've probably noticed some of the reviews recently have come out on Sundays or Mondays or those kind of things, where they used to come out at least by Saturday, which is still the goal. Saturday is still the goal to have them up. But yeah, 1 a week is what I'm going to try to do. I may add a stretch goal on SifPop Patreon of, at a certain level, I'll go back to 2 a week. But the reason that falls lower on my priority list is simple economics. It's putting my energy in the things that are feeding my family. And the ability for me to even do this is thanks to you, by the way. So, that's why I can do it at all and why I continue to do it, is because you support it. But if there was more of an audience, more supporters, bigger support base, I would definitely put more energy to getting more reviews out if that's what people wanted. So, but currently, yeah, I'm going to stay at 1 a week for the time being. But I will also do Twitter reviews for any movies I see that I don't do a 5 things review on. So just so you know that as well.
The constant content machine that is Aaron Dicer. Do you have any early awards predictions? Like way too early, I know, but just
it's way too early. The only thing I can really talk about is the documentaries. Our documentary awards are actually before our regular awards. Those are happening soon, and so I've been watching a lot of documentaries so I can vote in those. And there's some really good ones. I just saw Minding the Gap yesterday, which is a filmmaker who was just a kid growing up with these other skateboard kids. And, was just shooting video with them and that kind of stuff. And then as they got older, he just continued to kind of tell their story or shoot their story. And it's really fascinating. You think it's going to be a documentary about, kids skateboarding, and it's so much more. It's about so many different things. So, yeah. So anyways, Minding the Gap's good. But I think documentary-wise, I think Won't You Be My Neighbor is probably my one to beat. 3 Identical Strangers is really good. So there's some good stuff out there.
Nice. Yeah, I heard about 3 Identical Strangers, and that's one of those stories that I just couldn't even believe was a real thing. That's
right?
Crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we spoke at the beginning about not wanting to be the genre police, so sorry to bring it back there, but I did wonder, I saw your tweet on the horror fans for Halloween, like, hey, let's stay friends, but is horror your least favorite genre definitively? Do you have any other genres that kind of hang out there, or is every other genre kind of up there in the echelon together?
No, I think like anybody, I have favorite genres. Horror movies are probably towards the bottom. Of horror movies, torture porn type movies are the least of the least. Just not interested in Saw or Hostel or those kind of movies, or Human Centipede, or I don't get it. It's fine. It is torture porn. It's violence pornography. I don't understand it. All raunch-coms are probably low on the list. I don't, usually movies that think they're funny just because they're dirty. You can be dirty or suggestive and actually be clever and funny. But there are a lot of movies that just think by being filthy, that's what makes them funny. That doesn't connect to me very well. And then at the top of the list, I love comedies. I love dramas. Probably the movie that's gonna get me the most is probably A Thinker. You know, one of those movies that you have to process afterwards. I love that stuff. So that'd probably be at the top of the list.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, well, if we have any questions in the chat, we'll kind of move to the next month's movies. A little ahead of schedule.
Yeah, let's do it.
So for November, we have on November 2nd, Nobody's Fool and Bohemian Rhapsody. This is a weird weekend because neither one of these has kind of made themselves the clear, like this is the movie everyone's watching. So
I think Bohemian Rhapsody is probably of those two the one that most people are interested in. I'm certainly interested to see how Rami Malek does as Freddie Mercury. I've heard bits and pieces both ways, so it'll be interesting to see. Make up my own mind.
yeah, this begins Tiffany Haddish's run of, I think she's got 2 or 3 more movies coming out within the space of a couple months.
Right. Yeah.
On the 9th, we've got The Grinch and The Girl in the Spider's Web.
Yeah. I'm always up for a new Grinch movie. We'll see how it does.
Really?
Yeah,
Big fan of
sure.
The Grinch?
Why not?
Well, it's got Benedict Cumberbatch as the voice. That's what my wife keeps telling me. But I'm like, we've already seen The Grinch. She's like, but it's Benedict Cumberbatch.
As long as there are no penguins, he'll be fine.
I don't get that reference.
You should look up Benedict Cumberbatch saying the word penguin. Then you'll get the reference.
Oh.
Yeah. He says penwing.
Then the 16th, I guess this is probably one of the bigger movies that we have left for the year. We have The Crimes of Grindelwald, and then we have Instant Family.
I mean, I've heard things about both of them. You know, the Grindelwald stuff does not interest me all that much. It's just like it leaves me wanting more Harry Potter instead of actually scratching that itch. It just makes that itch worse, if that makes sense.
That is the perfect explanation of how yes, that's what it is. No, that you just touched on what I've felt the whole time. Yes.
Yeah. So, but no, I'll check it out. We'll see.
Instant Family looks adorable. I mean, I'm hoping it can hit that same bone that The Intern hit. Like that kind of just, who cares? This movie is just a bunch of like scenes cobbled together, but you love every moment of it. Like it just looks like it could be adorable.
Yeah. One Life says, I'm super intrigued by Spider's Web, which I think is Into the Spider-Verse that's coming out. That does look really interesting. So,
But no, are you kidding with us right now?
what?
The girl in the Spider's Web is not Into the Spider-Verse. This is I think it's
I thought, she's talking about the dragon tattoo.
yes. Yeah. Oh, I want to ask you questions so bad about the Spider-Verse though, but you haven't seen trailers, so I can't say anything to you.
That is coming out soon though, right? Is that December? Maybe that's
I think it's December, and the first trailer, super hype. The next trailer, I'm so worried. I'm very, very worried, man.
That's funny. You know what you could do is you could watch the movie and then decide if it's good or bad. That's
Well, here's what I do. I do an addendum. I will watch about the first 30 seconds to maybe a minute, and after I know I've got enough and every more is just going to be worse, I'll close my eyes and I'll plug my ears up. That's what I've started doing.
nice.
Because I'm already in the theater. And then November 23rd, this is really weird placement in my opinion. They've got Creed 2 and Ralph Breaks the Internet coming out on the same weekend.
I'm excited for both those sequels.
Right. They need their own weekend. Like,
yeah, it's hard to find your own weekend sometimes. There's always something coming out.
yeah. What's your opinion on boxing movies? Are you a fan?
Yeah, in general.
Okay.
There's a lot of great boxing movies.
Creed
Which is funny because I don't like boxing. I think boxing is a silly sport. But I do like the movies.
I hate boxing movies. Hate them. But my mom really wanted to see the first Creed. And I was like, all right, Mom, let's go see Creed. And then it ended up being my second favorite movie of that year.
Great.
So it has turned me around on boxing. I'm in.
Very cool.
And then also Robin Hood is coming out that weekend. But that's every movie gets a chance. But that one's already limping somehow up to the starting line.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all we got for this month coming out.
All right, very cool. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out, family. Appreciate you being here. One Life, Evan, Dr. C. Thanks for hanging out and chatting, all that kind of stuff. We do appreciate it. And as always, it is humbling that you actually support what's going on. Oh, David's in the chat too. He says, I'm still trying to catch up on the movie homework, watch Jim Carrey movies from an earlier family meeting. Yeah. I've been watching Jim Carrey on that Kidding Show on Showtime. So that's been interesting. I've been enjoying that. I really like him with Gondry. I think that's a great pairing. They kind of play off of each other really well. So
I'd wondered if that was good, so it's good to hear you endorse that.
It's a weird endorsement because I don't know that everybody would love it, but I certainly do.
Aren't those the toughest ones where you're like, I really like this thing that I don't know if you will, but
yeah.
I like it. Here you go.
Yeah, for sure. But yes, it is. Your support is humbling. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. And we will be back probably after Thanksgiving for the November one. We'll see how that goes. Maybe the Monday after Thanksgiving, we'll hop on, see if we've crawled out of our turkey coma yet, and chat movies. There'll be a lot to talk about. Thank you, Blake. Round of applause for Blake.
Oh, thanks. Happy to do it.
All right, we'll catch you next time, guys.